Welcome to the 10 Toes Down, Prayers Up Prayer Challenge. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you are a prison wife, fiance, girlfriend, or if you just have somebody in your family that's incarcerated. Hold on just a minute. Let this group know that I am live. All right, thank y'all for joining. Yeah, so today is May 1st already. Share the video because you never know who's locked up, who's impacted by it. 1 out of 2 people are impacted. You have some that are on the way to prison, unfortunately, some that are there, and some that are coming home. So this would be beneficial to all of those people. So again, thank you for joining. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're a prison wife, how long you've been on the journey. And if this is your first time joining and you have nothing to do with prison, point blank and period, that's fine too. Because I like to just share a different perspective, because we as prison wives get judged pretty harshly for waiting on our loved ones. You know, it's kind of understood that a family member does. And when I say family, not that the wife is not the family, but this sounds so crazy, don't it? Biologically. But anyway, those biological family members, like the mom, the dad, sister's brother, you know, they kind of expect it to stay around. But the wives, fiancés, girlfriends, oh, we get it. Okay, we get it. But you know, once you do it for so long, and some people jump in and like, who cares what y'all think? This is what I'm doing. I didn't jump in like that at the beginning. I made my decision, but I didn't want nobody to know. You know, I didn't know how to handle it. But eventually, it was like, whatever. You know, I'm doing what I do. This is my life. I feel like I'm doing what God told me to do, so I'm gonna move on with it. So anyway, if this is your first time joining, I am the Coach D, prison marriage coach, prison wife thriver of 14 and a half years. This is re-entry year number 6 for my husband and myself and my children, our children. I am the author of, and I do not have the book in front of me. Wow. I am the author of Prayers of a Prison Wife and Prison Marriage Boot Camp for Him and Her workbooks. Those books can be found at the link in my bio, and they can be shipped to prisons. Just know that when you let me know that you want your order, that you are specific with your instructions, because I know how prisons are, you know, about what comes in and what comes out. So, yeah, I am a certified Kingdom Marriage Coach, lay biblical coach, master's in counseling psychology, and currently in school now. And I've been doing this prayer challenge now for, let's see, I started in 2024, and this year it was built around the fruit of the Spirit. So, since the beginning of the year, we've been tackling a fruit of the Spirit per month. So today's fruit of the Spirit, now just go ahead and read to you the fruits of the Spirit, just in case you don't know. Because guess what? There's a time I didn't know either. And that's just like the theme, which I can go on and tell you, is the prison wife journey will test your gangster. Okay, so what are you going to do when your gangster is tested on this journey? And that's where the fruits of the Spirit come in. What you're going to grab, what you're going to hold on to. We got to have the fruits of the Spirit to get through this. I realized that, you know, once I had been on the journey, once I got off, y'all, like, this was really like a, what do you call it, epiphany moment when, this year, you know, it's like, girl, you done waited all this time, but you've been tested on every single fruit of the Spirit during this journey, you know. So part of my purpose as a prison marriage coach is to let you know, if you're waiting, what helped me and how I got through it, and the things that I wish I would have known that I know now that I didn't know, you know, so I can make it as easy as possible for you, because no matter what, we are in a non-traditional, you are in a non-traditional relationship. So if you're going to be in a non-traditional extraordinary relationship, you got to do non-traditional extraordinary things. And what I discovered is that this was not all about me waiting on my husband, who was my fiancé at the time. We got married in prison. So this was also, more importantly, about God putting things in order for us, and putting him first. And having this time with him to develop a relationship. When I say with him, with God, that's the most important relationship that I learned about on this journey. And so that's what I've talked to you about. What's been important to me that I know should be important to you is a consistent personal relationship with God, which I call daily CPR, which I did not. I believe in crediting people. So that was my counselor that gave it to me. Daily CPR, So anyway, back to the fruit of the Spirit. That comes from Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. So yeah, every single one of those things is what's being tested to my prison wives, fiancés, girlfriends, while y'all waiting. This is what's being tested. Your love is being tested. If you can have joy on this journey, is being tested. Your peace is being tested. We talked about those three things. Oh yeah, before we get going, also in the link at the link in my bio, there's a free template that goes along with this challenge. And with that, it tells you how to pray. It's a space for scripture. It's a space for you to write your own prayer or thoughts or prayers. And then there's a space for application. So how do you plan on applying the particular fruit to your life, that fruit of the Spirit to your life? So you can download that now. You can print it off. It's a lot of print. Or it's interactive. So, whatever app you got on your phone, PDF reader, whatever, that will help you, allow you to type directly into that template. All right. So are there any prison wives watching? Looking at the comments, I don't see any. All right. So yeah, the fruits of the Spirit. So as I was saying, we already did love. We already did joy. We did peace in April. Those replays can be found on my YouTube channel. So subscribe to that. Somebody sent a message. And if you send in something crazy, it will block it. So I didn't see that. So maybe that wasn't worth seeing. But anyway, yeah. So today we are on forbearance. So who's like, y'all just like, be for real, keep it real. For me, when I hear the word forbearance, what goes into y'all's mind when y'all hear forbearance? What's the first thing that pops in your head when you hear the word forbearance? Like for me, it's student loan forbearance, been there probably. Well, the only reason I ain't there now is because I'm in school. But if I wasn't in school, I'd still be in forbearance. Okay. So forbearance. So I looked up the definition of student loan forbearance. So it's saying it's saying a temporary pause or reduction in student loan payments due to financial, keyword, hardship. So that means that you having some difficulty paying back that loan. You're having some type of financial hardship, challenge, hard, right? So that means if you're having a financial challenge, that the grace period has been offered to you, right? The grace period has been offered, but you weren't even able to make that payment within the grace period. You weren't even able to make that payment once the grace period came up, and then here came the late fees. You weren't even able to make that. So now here's an option for you. you can go into forbearance. Would you like to do that? Okay. So that means you're dealing with extraordinary circumstances, right? And that's basically what we're dealing with right here, on this prison wife journey. I've talked to you because I watched Pastor Mike speak about obstacles and opposition. So yeah, the prison wife journey is an obstacle, but there's opposition that comes along this journey, right? That's making it's already extraordinary. It's already non-traditional, but it's making it even more difficult. It's going to make it even more challenging. So that's what I mean when I say, what you going to do when this prison wife journey tests your gangster? Because it's going to be tested. Are you just going to react? Are you just going to get mad and fold? What are you going to do? How are you going to maintain yourself if you already know that you said yes to a relationship, or maybe you're married, or maybe thinking about getting married, and the goal, I don't care what anybody says, if you're trying to get married or be in a relationship, you really go, I don't know, these days people be tripping, but you go into it with the mindset of you want it to last. Otherwise, you wouldn't get into it. So, therefore, you can't just be ready to react and do what you want to do when certain situations pop up. And this is where the fruits of the spirits come in. Now, fruit of the spirit. Now, what I will say when I say, are you going to fold? I'm not saying to sit there and just take in and everything. I'm not saying none of that. Okay? That's not what this means when I say don't fold. Because this is a difficult situation and everybody will not make it through it. And it's okay. Just like any traditional relationship, you might not make it. That's just part of life. But how are you able to walk away from it? Are you walking away with grace in mind? Do you have to walk away in a way that it can just be harmful and detrimental to you and to your partner? There's ways to do things, So back to what I was saying, we're talking about forbearance. I gave you the student loan definition, meaning, again, hardship. So let me give the forbearance definition. The quality of someone who is patient and able to deal with a difficult person or situation without being angry. Now, y'all, we're human. God knows we're not perfect. So does that mean we can never be angry? No. But how are you going to sustain and maintain your relationship and your sanity, your loved one's sanity, if you stay in anger? If you stay emotional. I know it's an emotional roller coaster, but how are you going to ride the roller coaster? What are you going to pull out that's going to calm you down in those moments of anxiousness, in the moments of fear? Because a lot of this is simply the fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to pop off next. Not with this prison life. You really don't. So it's hard to say be ready, because you might not just be able to be ready, but what you can do is have certain tools in place so that the challenge ain't as hard. So the challenge is not as difficult. So this is what this is, the fruit of the spirit, and we're talking about forbearance. So now, a lot of times, because when I started looking into forbearance, I even sent out an email to my email list saying patience. However, on my thing, on my template, I think it says forbearance, but I used the word patience because I was just thinking, okay, it's synonymous, it's interchangeable. Well, it's not. Forbearance surpasses patience. It's extra grace, because you're in an extra difficult situation. So forbearance is what's the word? I don't know the word I'm looking for. Forbearance, as I was saying, is just a higher level of patience. So that's where we are with forbearance. And it kind of had me to reflect on my own situation, because I shared my situation. And I'm saying, look, I be saying situation, but we said forbearance is like difficult. It's extra for extraordinary situations, right? So I'm from Alabama. Y'all heard people say situation. This right here is a situation. And I realized I was in a situation when I pulled up at the prison. Okay. My first time visiting a prison was visiting a freaking maximum security. So here I am. I'm in the mountains, in Kentucky, in the mountains, like in the morning. Because you got to get there early. You're trying to be there early. This is your first time at visit. You've heard some things because you hopefully do your research before you go. Like, let me see where I'm going. I don't know what I'm walking into, but you try to learn as much as possible. If you've been connected to people that have never been and can't tell you nothing, then you are just kind of walking in there blindly. You don't know what to expect. Not that I didn't have people in my family that had been to prison. I hadn't visited them. So I didn't know what to expect. So what I do, I go to the website. Okay, well, let's see how I'm supposed to dress. Of course, your loved one gonna tell you what you can and can't do. But you're still walking in there blindly, and you still have a sense of anxiety and fear because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're about to come into contact with. I had my parents with me. I had my children, and my children at the time were like 2 and 5, I think. So that in itself is a decision that has to be made. So I made the decision, all my kids are going to go because I felt like they needed to know their dad, and they'll grow up, and I talk to them as we go through the journey. I will explain certain things to them. He will explain certain things, and we just go like that. It sounds easy, but it wasn't easy. So again, here I am in a situation, I don't know what I'm walking into. Then when I pull up, it's like when we pull up and you get out and you look and you see like, oh, I don't like to be cussing when I'm on this thing because I'm talking about God. But it does, like when you pull up, I'm like, okay, he done got himself in some shit this time. What is this? What is this? Because you look up and you see the guards with the big, I don't be knowing names of guns, y'all, sorry. But he got the gun, okay? They standing on top of the tower. Then you walk in and there's 2 guards standing with, they locked, loaded, and ready, okay? And I got my kids with me. So it's like, oh. Then you just start thinking, oh my, did I do the right thing, Then you walk into the thing and you sign in. And this was my very first visit. And they rush us to, the visiting area where all the rest of the families are waiting to go to visit. So they rush us in there and we sit down, and next thing you know, they bam, close the door and lock it. So we're sitting there like, whoa, what is going on? And then next thing you see, I want to say it's 2 armed guards, and they're walking through with an incarcerated loved one. Y'all know, I don't like that word, inmate. They walking through with the person, and they guarding them, and they got the guns on each side, and they got their feet shackled and their hands shackled. I ain't never seen that before. So it's like, oh wow, this is different. This is not, I know it's prison, but you don't be knowing what to expect until you see it on TV, but when you're experiencing it, it's like, whoa. So that was my like, whoa moment. So I'm saying that to say that these are times of hardship. These are times when you're faced in situations where, what do I do? If I sit here and be in panic mode and stressed out my whole entire way, first of all, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it with that mindset. So that's where your personal relationship with God comes in. That's where your mindset shift for the moment, I'm gonna call it mindset shift for the moment, has to take place. You can't be in your same mindset waiting on somebody. You have to have a different level of patience. You have to have a different level of grace. You have to have a different level of knowing how to attain peace. You have to have a different level of love, because now all conditions are gone. This is straight up unconditional if you're waiting on the outside for them To me, it is. What do y'all think? I mean, because technically, if they're taken away, now there are ways, and there are legal ways, and we know there are illegal ways that people take care of their loved ones on the outside. Yes, that is being done. You know, so I don't like to just freely throw out there they can't do this, they can't take care of you. Yeah, they can take care of you from the inside. Yes, they can. So, you know, you have these things. Possibly, let's just say they can't. You're out here holding it down. You are 10 toes down because you want to, because you made that choice. You know, if you consulted God and made it the choice, okay, and if you didn't, okay, you still made the choice. You're there. So now, what are you going to do to get through it? So you have to have the tools. You have to learn how to still be able to have joyful moments in your life with your loved one gone. So that's what I mean when I say every single fruit of the Spirit is tested on this journey and at a heightened level. So you have to have the tools to know what to do and how to use it. And I did not give you what I should have given you first. So if you do have the template, the scripture for the theme for today is Philippians 4:5-7. Let all men know your forbearance. The Lord is at hand. Have no anxiety about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will keep your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Now, does that mean that you're not going to experience fear? You're not going to experience anxiety? But I know if I did not have my prayer life in place, it would have been at a way more heightened state. You know. Also, last month we talked about the rewiring of your, scientifically it's called rewiring of your brain. Biblically, we are talking about renewing of the mind. Okay, so that's what we talked about in April, and we were talking about peace because we know we're human. We know peace is just not going to automatically think of peace. You know, you're gonna have different situations. That's just one thing I told you about. That's the first real. No, that wasn't the first real encounter. First real encounter is when you get that phone call. Then you're sitting there in the courtroom and you watch somebody be sentenced. That's a real one too. You know, but because of me developing my relationship with God along the way, I had the tools that I needed to get through it. Those tools also weren't just for me, because I had children, you know, and my children were part of visit. I took my kids to visit. So I couldn't be up here at a heightened level all the time. If I'm heightened, what am I doing for my kids? If I'm always stressed out, you know, I'm just going to pass that stress right on down to them. So if you have children, these are things to think about. If you got your children waiting with you on this journey, if your children are going to the prison to see their father, their sister, brother, cousin, whoever, you know, there are ways to talk to them about it. Some people don't believe in taking them. You can do what you want. I just believe that our children are smart, they're resilient, and they're exposed to so much in society today at school anyway. Might as well make it a learning lesson. So I just kind of made it a learning lesson for mine. Talk to my husband, and we just talk to them and coach them along the way. That's all you can do, you know. So again, forbearance. You must pray for each one of these fruits of the Spirit. It's a test. I told you from the beginning, this is spiritual warfare. If you have a loved one in prison, it's spiritual warfare. So therefore, you got to do different things if you plan on making it. And if you don't make it, that's fine. Like I said in the beginning, walk away with grace too. You still use your forbearance. That don't mean it's okay. You know, everybody's not meant to sustain it, and it's nothing wrong with that. So continue if you're on a journey. I hope this helps. Oh yeah, stay to the end, because I have something that I do want to share with y'all. If you're a prison wife, fiance, girlfriend, okay. So let me see if I cover everything. Yeah, I think that's it. So today was forbearance. I told you we already done love, joy, peace. Tomorrow is a continuation of forbearance for the journey. Also catch the replays on my YouTube channel. That's For the Lives of Prison Wives, Loyal Ladies. I also have a free group, For the Lives of Prison Wives, Loyal Ladies, on Facebook. But I'm just telling y'all what's going on over there. It's hard. Facebook makes it very hard to reach people now. Oh, I probably shouldn't be saying that. They make it hard for people to reach, for you to reach your people in the group, right? So, y'all, I've come up with something for us. If you are a PW, prison wife, it don't matter if you're at the beginning, the middle, the end of the journey, even if you're in re-entry, because guess what? The challenges still come with re-entry. That's actually the real test, okay? The real test comes with re-entry. I missed the beginning of the series. How do I catch up? Check the replay out. I will post the replay by the end of the day on YouTube. And I have another option for you too. But yeah, so yeah, I just got distracted. What was I telling you before she asked me that? I'm so sorry. Thank you for the hearts, Book 46. I honestly forgot where I was, but anyway, yeah. Check the replay out. And what I do have, I was telling you about reaching. I can't reach the numbers that I need to reach in that group, right? So with that being said, I've created another group that is for prison wives, fiancés, girlfriends, and re-entry wives. That's where I was on, because I said that's where the real challenge begins. So y'all, this is why it's important to lay the foundation now, so that when your loved one returns, you have the tools. I had to learn this stuff on the way, you know. So everything that I've learned on the way that worked for me and my husband and kids, and did not work for me, my husband and kids, I'm sharing it with y'all so that you can get through the journey easier. I'm not saying easy, easier. I truly believe, for me, I know that if I did not have that daily CPR going on that I told y'all about, that daily consistent personal relationship with God, I don't know if I would have made it. I don't think I would have made it, you know. And if I would have made it, I would not have made it with the amount of ease that I did have, the amount of peace that I did have with it, you know. So that's why I've created this group. That's why I'm still here, to help you so that you can get through the journey easier. So with that being said, I have started a group, and that is the 10 Toes Down Prayers Up. 10 Toes Down Circle. That's at the link in my bio. And within that circle, what we are doing, we'll be praying together. We'll be going deeper on the fruits of the Spirit and any other spiritual, you know, concept or whatever happens along the way in that group. So we're taking like a deeper dive into prayer, how to pray, because everybody don't know how to pray. There's a time I didn't know how to pray. I was just with the basic, and that ain't nothing basic about it. Okay, so let me take that back. But I knew the Lord's Prayer, but I did not know how to go deeper. So that's just like having a friend, you know. Are you going to stay surface level with your friend? Are you going to stay surface level with your spouse? No, the more you talk to them, you get to know them on a deeper level. So it's the same thing with God. The more you talk to him, you get to know him on a deeper level. You should get to know his language. So that's what this is about, you know. That's what the 10 Toes Down Circle is for. So if you don't know how to pray, then we're teaching you how to have a closer relationship with God, how to talk to him, how to hear him, how to obey him, because that's hard. Obeying what he tells you to do is hard, fasting. All of those things will be talked about in this 10 Toes Down Prayers Up group. Also, the Prison Marriage Boot Camp has, about 16 modules. Now, the 16 modules will not be offered during, the 16 modules will not be offered, but you will get about 4. So we'll have like quarterly coaching in that group as well. All right, so there's 2 options. That's the premium option, and then you have another option to join. So if you join now, y'all, you are joining as a founding member, okay? What does that mean? You are the first ones in this group, and you're actually helping to build this group, and you're actually giving your input so we can make the group as best as it can be as we go along, to help each other and to be each other's support system. Because we do have, although our situations are unique, we still share the same pain of being a prison wife and waiting on our loved one. All right. So hit that link in my bio, and you'll see both options to join. The premium option, you will actually have the Prison Marriage Bootcamp curriculum being taught, or trainings going on a consistent basis, like once a month, okay, versus the quarterly. So check that out. Founding member, y'all, it's only one price for a founding member right now. And that is only, y'all, it's only $15 to join as a founding member today, okay? That price will change. It's $15, so that's $15 a month. Y'all think about that, because what we do is we'll put money on the books, and sometimes we put money on the books for foolishness, and we know it, So why not invest in something that's strictly going to be beneficial to you and your loved one's relationship, to you and your loved one's relationship with God, to you and your loved one's relationship with each other, to you and your loved one's commitment to family? Because we know that this situation, or the system, is technically designed to separate you, to break you up, okay? So I don't think the system is broken. I think it's functioning the way it's supposed to function, unfortunately. So again, hit that link in the bio. Don't forget also to download your free template for the challenge. So if you didn't get to download it today, download it so you can use it tomorrow for forbearance. All right. And again, thank y'all for joining. Any questions? If not, and you got questions later, you can hit my DM. And I will see y'all tomorrow. I think that's everything. Yes. All right. Stay strong, beautiful, unbothered.